This is the Steve Gruber Show.
Yes, it is, and good morning. Thank you for being here. Greatly appreciate you fighting for me and with us in the Foxhole of Freedom. It's an important place to be every single day fighting for this country. I've got some programming notes coming up for you. We'll get to that. But first, the big three things you need to know this hour. Number one, in another brilliant move, VA Secretary Doug Collins just claimed $77 million that was supposed to be used for solar EV charging stations. Instead, he's going to use it for veterans' health care. Like I said, brilliant. Number two, in Pennsylvania, an activist left-wing group going to send a primary challenge against Democrat Senator John Fetterman. I guess if you don't do as you're told, they'll come after you with the pitchforks, clearly. And number three, how about the members of Congress enriching themselves to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars, even billions of dollars, while ordinary folks like you are struggling to pay the light bill off in days? Well, this issue has now brought together some very unusual members to unite, to say the very least. It's time to stop allowing members of Congress to have all this insider information, insider trading. Some making thousands of trades a year, thousands. Do you have time for that? Because I sure don't. Congressman Tim Burchett, one of my favorites from Tennessee, says it's time to cut off the head of the snake. And by that, he means Congress and its inside trading scheme to enrich themselves and forget about you. Here he is yesterday.
And this is, everybody talks about this place being a dadgum swamp. It's not a swamp. A swamp is something cool God created. It filters water. Animal life lives and flourishes around it. This is a sewer. This is created by man, and it needs to stop. We've, for years, Congress has been using hard-working American taxpayers' money to get rich. Dadgum, it's got to stop. America knows what the heck's going on. Everybody wants to knock Pelosi. Heck, she's not even in the top 10. Get on that Unusual Whales site. This is pathetic, folks. We all know what's going on. Congress knows what the hell's going on, and it needs to stop. This body has been enriching itself on the taxpayers' dime for too dadgum long, and it's got to stop. This place is crooked and is crooked as a dog's leg. That's an old East Tennessee saying, but it's the truth.
Crooked as a dog's leg. Nancy Pelosi isn't even in the top 10. Really? Really, who is? That's interesting, isn't it? And from there, Birch got even more fired up. Listen to this.
This is a scam that's being played on the American public, and it needs to stop. Let's quit with this nonsense. Let's give America a reason to trust Congress for once in our miserable lives. This is our chance to stand up and say, we hear what you're saying, America. We're going to fix this dadgum problem, but we probably won't do it. And I'll remain ticked off the rest of the day because of this, and it needs to stop. I want to thank all these folks, really. I joke around about it. You want to talk about something that, we all working together? Dadgummit, this is the issue. This is the issue where Democrats and Republicans, dadgummit, if I can stand up here with these two, these two. I mean, people back in East Tennessee are going, what in the heck's Burchett doing sitting next to Paul, for goodness sakes? Well, I'm not going to beat her in her district, and she sure as heck ain't going to come down to East Tennessee and beat me. But this is an issue that America's united on.
I agree with him. When you see people go into Congress that are worth $500,000, $800,000, and a few years later they're worth $20 million or more, obviously something's happening. We're getting scammed, just like he said. This is a scam on the American taxpayer, enriching themselves and not giving a damn about you. Good for Paul. Good for Burchett. Those are two polar opposite members of Congress. Paul, a member of the squad. Burchett, a member of his own private army, I think. East Tennessee. Always wears that old worn-out barn coat. Love that coat, by the way. These are two very different people that agree on one thing. Stop gaming the system for your own enrichment while the American people try to figure out how to pay the light bill. It's about the most sensible thing I've ever heard. It's called bipartisanship, which is why, my friends, I've never been a member of any political party and never will be. I don't issue endorsements. I just sit here and give you color commentary and play-by-play. This is a good idea. Meanwhile, one of the Democrats in big trouble now, I wasn't really familiar with her, but her name is Sheila Sherphyllis McCormick. Today, she's facing over 50 years in prison on federal charges. And she's a member of Congress. Why? Well, a Miami grand jury indicted Sheila Phyllis McCormick on charges that she stole millions of dollars from FEMA. Here it is, another scam where she's working with her brother, sending money through some nonprofit, right? And pretending that it was candidate contributions. Using disaster relief funds for self-enrichment is a particularly selfish and cynical crime, so said Attorney General Pam Bondi. No one is above the law, least of all powerful people who rob taxpayers for personal gain. We will follow the facts in this case and deliver justice. They worked through their family health care company, a FEMA-funded COVID-19 vaccination staffing contract in 2021. The company received an overpayment of $5 million in July 2021. FBI Director Kash Patel immediately posted on X that Phyllis McCormick and her family allegedly stole money from FEMA and then laundered it through friends toward her own personal benefits, including her campaign accounts. Follow the money. Another member of Congress enriching themselves, just like Burchett was talking about there. This has to stop, and somebody needs to go to prison for this. If this is a member of Congress, I wouldn't care if this was a Republican. If you stole money from FEMA or any other government agency to enrich yourself and pad your campaign fund, you need to be in prison as an example to the rest of the world. Period. I don't care who you are. Greg Steube of Florida, another member of Congress, says, this was one of the most egregious abuses of public trust I have ever seen. Ever seen. They're demanding that she resign now as the Republican Party of Florida. Of course, her office not responding to requests for interviews. Batten down the hatches, hide, scream Epstein, scream Russia, do something. Yeah. By the way, there's an AI-generated deepfake circulating of Donald Trump pretending that he's on a phone call arguing about the release of the Epstein files. As an update, Donald Trump signed the legislation last night to release all the Epstein information that they can. Anything that's unclassified is going out to the masses. We'll soon see. Whose names are on there? Larry Summers, I'll have him in a moment. Larry Summers resigning and stepping back from public life in complete and total shame and embarrassment, as he should. Larry Summers, one of the chief architects of the anti-Trump movement, now caught up in a web with Jeffrey Epstein, asking Epstein over 7 years of emails for dating advice. Just let that simmer for a moment. For dating advice. All right, we'll take a break and be right back.